What's up guys, Jeremy here. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. In the past 4 years, I've completed 10 fix and flip projects here in Hawaii, and I'm currently working on 6 more right now for 2025. From these 10 projects, I've won big and I've lost big on a few. After going through both wins and losses, I've learned a lot of lessons, and from these lessons, I've came to the conclusion that I've created 5 main rules that I follow when it comes to deciding if I'm gonna buy a project to fix and flip. If this is your first time watching my videos and you don't know who I am, my name is Jeremy Mateo. I am a real estate broker and investor here in Hawaii. I own multiple businesses, including my own brokerage. I've done 100+ real estate transactions, and I've helped numerous clients, including myself, buy and sell real estate. Please do me a favor and like this video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow. When it comes to flipping houses, it really is a gamble. There is always a risk, no matter how good the deal is. However, there are certain guidelines or rules that I have created to help mitigate these risks. The point of investing is to make money and prevent losing money. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the 5 rules I have created for myself when it comes to acquiring properties to flip. All right, so rule number 1, numbers have to make sense. This is the number 1 rule. If numbers don't make sense, then you will lose money. But what do I mean by numbers have to make sense? It means if I buy it at a certain price, plus closing costs and rehab costs, hard money and private money costs, carrying costs, realtor costs, and all of that, if I sell it at what I think I'm gonna sell it for, AKA the ARV, will I make a good amount of money? If yes, then it makes sense. But you have to plan and prepare, and of course, crunch your numbers conservatively and accurately. Will the numbers make sense if my rehab is about 10 to 15% over budget? Or what if my project sits on the market for 6 months? Will it still make sense? For me, again, I like to run my numbers conservatively. If I think the property is gonna take about, 6 months to be completed and sold, then I will calculate to sell it in 9 months. Also, what if it sells for 10 to 15% lower than ARV? I take all of this and factor them into my calculations when I'm planning to buy a property. I'll look at the comps and I'll see, okay, what is my range of what this could sell for? What is my worst case scenario? If all of these bad situations play out, am I still going to make money? If yes, then the numbers make sense. And then I also like to look at, okay, like what price will be my break even? If my break even price is way lower than the lower part of the range of my comps, then I have a good feeling about it and we are checked off with rule number 1. All right, my rule number 2 is rehab is not too big. For me, this rule is a bit of a gray area rule, meaning sometimes I follow it, sometimes there's exceptions. But the main thing is, okay, with rehab, do I need to rebuild and restructure the house? If yes, then it is way too big for me. I don't even want to take it on. It's a no-go. The reason is because work like that requires you to get permits here in Oahu. And if you didn't know, getting permits in Oahu is a big pain in the ass. The whole process takes so long that it makes flipping so risky, and I do not want to deal with that again. Yes, I've experienced that. I've experienced waiting for permits, and it's a nightmare. I usually only want to take on a flip if the rehab is cosmetic and it doesn't need that much work. Things like repainting, getting new cabinets, countertops, replacing the floors, and all that. That is like my bread and butter because I can buy it, get in, do the rehab, get out, and put it back on the market fast. When it comes to flips, it's all about speed. However, there are exceptions to this rule. If the rehab is a little bit bigger than I'm comfortable with, I may take it on, but when I do, there are other factors that come into play. The first one is I would not do it alone. I would definitely partner with someone. Essentially, I would partner with my contractor that is going to do the work. I don't mind giving up part of the profit if it meant that I have a trusted partner that is doing the rehab work. They have skin in the game. They have to make money too. So they're putting this project as their priority and they'll get it done ASAP. If the project has a bigger rehab and I can partner with my contractor and it follows rule number 1 and the other rules in this video, then I can make an exception for rule number 2. Hey guys, really quick, if you're getting some value out of this video, please do me a favor and like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and if you like and subscribe, or even better yet, share this video with someone else or a friend, it really helps my channel grow, and I'm really trying to grow this channel. So thank you guys. All right, back to the video. All right, so numbers look good, check. Rehab isn't too bad, or maybe rehab is kind of big, but I can partner with someone, check. Okay, awesome. Next rule. Rule number 3, property is in a nice neighborhood. When I find a property to flip, it has to be in a nice city and neighborhood. I try to stick to the neighborhoods that I know well here on Oahu, like Ewa Beach, Kapolei, Makakilo, Waipahu, Waikele, etc. The reason I am comfortable with those neighborhoods is because I grew up in Ewa Beach, so I know it very well. I know it super well, I'm confident in the numbers, and I know different neighborhoods. So if something happens, like I have a good understanding for the market in Ewa Beach. Even bigger plus is if the property I wanna flip is in a highly desirable and expensive neighborhood. Places here in Oahu are like Hawaii Kai, Kahala, any of the ridges. Places like those are usually always in high demand and the buyers pay cash.
Shut up and take my money.
I will most likely always pass on a flip opportunity if it's in like a city or neighborhood I don't know very well, or maybe it's like not really the nicest parts of the island, despite having good numbers. Yes, if it has good numbers and it's still in this community, I most likely won't do it. Remember, flipping is all about risk taking and risk management. And the places that I mentioned previously are all the places that I feel minimize the most risk. And that is the game I'm trying to play. I'm trying to take on properties that are in neighborhoods that I feel comfortable in. All right, so numbers make sense. Rehab isn't too bad. Nice neighborhood, awesome. Okay, it's time for rule number 4. The comps aren't sitting long. So when you calculate your ARV, you need to look at the comps. This is how you determine your ARV and you crunch your numbers and all of that. Another thing I take into consideration when I'm looking at the comps is how many days were they on the market before they went under contract. The reason I look at this is because I want to know, okay, when I finish the rehab with this property, is it going to sell fast? It's all about speed and I want it to sell fast. If I'm looking at comps and they are fairly well renovated and great condition, that's giving me my ARV. But if I look closely and it takes 5 months to sell, that's kind of concerning. Sure, I can understand, like maybe they priced it super high at first and that's why it took so long to sell. But if it was priced fair and it still took a while and all the other comps also took a while, then I may be a little concerned because that tells me that this neighborhood, if I'm gonna flip in here, no matter what I do, it's going to sit for a while. And I don't want it to sit for a while. Again, speed is the name of the game and I want to list this on the market and sell it fast. Are there exceptions to this rule? Of course. Again, if all the other rules check out, then I'll probably take it on and maybe I'll just make the ARV lower. But if that's the case, if ARV comes lower, that means I have to buy it lower. So the best case scenario is, people will see the low price, it will get a lot of attention, and then worst case, it just sits. And then at that point, I just saved myself 30 days on the market. All right, so all of these rules check out. Now what? I still have my 5th rule. And the 5th rule is no weird shit. For me, I want my deals to be straightforward, nothing weird going on, just simple price, simple home, simple rehab, I sell it, I make money, like simple. If there's weird shit with the property that for some reason just throws off my gut feeling, I'm not taking it. But what do you mean by weird shit, Jeremy? Like, what does that mean? Weird shit can mean anything, like anything about the property that could affect the sale and won't make it streamlined and simple. Like maybe someone passed away in the home. That's a big one, especially here in Hawaii. Maybe the home used to belong to someone known for doing a lot of crime or drug dealers, or maybe there's a lot of squatters in there. Maybe there's still squatters in there, Maybe it's next to a graveyard. Maybe, there's weirdly made unpermitted structures in the home, or the layout is weird and, I can't change it without messing the structure. Or maybe like the driveway has like some weird kind of entrance, or something with the plot of land is weird. You know, like anything. It could mean anything really. Any detail about the home that would make it odd or weird or out of the ordinary, I don't want none of that. The reason is because I want the biggest, widest range of a buyer pool to buy this. Because when I'm taking on a flip, I'm always thinking of the end first. Who is gonna buy this? Okay, if I buy this property, can anyone buy it? Will a first-time home buyer buy it? Will a family buy it? Will an investor buy it? If it's a weird property and I'm like, okay, yeah, a first-time home buyer is not gonna buy this, a family's not gonna buy this, only an investor can buy this, that just cuts off my whole buyer pool, and I don't want that. Maybe the property has like a bunch of stairs, so guess what? Elderly people aren't gonna buy that. People with big multi-generational families aren't gonna buy that because it's hard for the elderly to walk up a bunch of stairs. To me, that's risky. You know, I want a simple home, simple layout where anyone can buy it. So there you have it. Those are my 5 rules when it comes to acquiring fix and flip projects. Numbers have to make sense. Rehab cannot be too big. It must be in a nice neighborhood. Comps cannot be sitting too long, and no weird shit. If you're watching this and you have some potential deals, or you'd like to partner with me on some potential deals here in Hawaii, or maybe you just need a realtor to help you buy or sell real estate, feel free to shoot me an email at info@jeremymateo.com, and I'd love to help you out. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for sticking to the end. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.